Hey guys, welcome back to my channel here at Mia Danielle, where I chat all about holistic and clutter-free spaces. So a lot of you know that I just got married and went on my honeymoon in Cancun, and it was awesome. We were there for a full week at a 5-star all-inclusive resort. It was sunshiny, it was gorgeous, and honestly, I'm having a little trouble getting back into my groove of things. And I wouldn't even say that I'm having trouble getting back into the groove so much as I'm like holding on to the vacation spirit of Cancun. Like I'm trying as hard as I can to really drag that feeling out instead of like being sucked back into the daily grind, you know what I mean? Like the daily working and just constantly having my mind focusing on something. And so this episode is really about me sharing something that I'm focusing on at this point in time after coming back from a really great vacation and just kind of trying to build some new, better habits and to really make sure that I'm being intentional about how I spend my time. So I'm inviting you along with me on this journey to healthy simplicity as I go into the summer months where everybody is going to be home. You know, Matt works at a school, so he's going to be home for the summer. The girls are home for the summer. And so it's a really kind of laid back, relaxed vibe. And what I don't want to happen is with a little less structure, I don't want to go all into just kind of constantly working in the background and always having my mind on projects, or going the other way and just kind of like napping and vegging out and, you know, also not feeling great, right? So I want to find this healthy balance and simplicity. And I know things that have worked for me in the past, but also I'm drawing a lot of inspiration from this recent honeymoon because, like I said, I'm wanting to draw out these sensations as long as possible. If you're new to this channel and you're interested in topics like simplicity and minimalism and decluttering and just creating a holistic, amazing space, then be sure to click subscribe and turn on those notifications. I release new videos every Tuesday. Now, if you're ready to dive in on these 10 healthy habits that will simplify your daily life, go ahead and click the thumbs up and let's dive in. So as you can imagine, while we were in Cancun, we were out in the bright sunshine. It was gorgeous, but it was also hot and very sunshiny. And I did start to notice having a little bit of sun damage to my skin, especially on my face, even though I was wearing like 100 proof sunblock on my face and we lathered up every day. Luckily, we didn't really get burned, but I did start seeing more freckles. I do have skin that's prone to freckles. I've always done that, but now that I'm getting older, the freckles are starting to congregate into areas where I wouldn't necessarily want to have them. And so skincare is something that I've really been focusing on since I came back. I feel like when my skin feels good, then I feel good. I've been using masks and some special creams, everything to try to bring some of the hydration and healthiness back to my skin and give it a good rest after all of that time in the sun in Cancun. There is no pretty way to put on a face mask. I mean, they are just wrinkly and slimy and kind of weird looking. And so my goal right now is just to take care of my skin, to let it rest, to hydrate, moisturize, you know, use the vitamin C and all of the good stuff that helps with the coloration. And this particular mask is something that I got in an Allure box a while back. And so I'm using it for the first time now. And it did work to make my face feel really soft and hydrated. So while we were in Cancun, there was this one restaurant slash juice bar that we would go to quite frequently. In fact, our room was right around the corner from it, which was awesome. So we could wake up in the morning and go hit up this juice bar. And it really inspired me to start drinking smoothies. They had the most amazing juices and smoothies, and they would make me feel really invigorated and rejuvenated for the day. And so one of these things that I'm trying to take back into my daily life now that I'm back home is making a variety of smoothies and juices. And it's really great as far as a simplified habit because it also is giving you a lot of your nutrients in a simple, easy to make format that happens to be really healthy for you. So you're getting a lot of the vitamins, you're getting a lot of B vitamins, vitamin C, just some of those things that really make you feel good and also happen to be great for your skin and your organs and your connective tissue. And so it's a really good habit to start, and I'm enjoying it so far. Something that's not incredibly new, you've probably heard me speak of it before, is meditation. I've always been into meditation, or at least I have for about the past decade or so. But you know, it's one of those things that eventually I kind of fall off and don't use it for a while. But now that I'm back, I'm really itching to just get myself into a state of practicing breaks, because I feel like before I went on this week-long Cancun trip, I wasn't allowing myself to take enough breaks. I would get focused on a project and I would hone in on that project until I was just exhausted and couldn't think about anything else. After going, I realized that everything was just fine. And when I came back, I didn't feel the need to jump back into another project because I felt like everything was okay. So I'm practicing taking breaks and just really disconnecting and getting centered. Another thing that is really important, especially for those productivity times, is to have a decluttered and well-lit workspace. This is a great habit of just keeping your workspace clear, keeping your workspace well lit, and even having some healthy reminders of times to take breaks, I think is crucial. I'm really loving this lamp. This is from BenQ. I'll leave the link to it down in the description. They didn't sponsor this video or anything, but they did give me this lamp and I'm loving it. The little bar on the edge, you can tap it once to turn on or off. You can hold it down and it'll turn into like a warm light that's matched to the ambiance of the room that you're in. And you can tap it again to turn it into a blue light that matches the ambiance of the room you're in. There's also a knob on it that you can press for color adjustments, or you can press it again to make it brightness adjustments. This has been really great for feeling focused when I'm doing my projects. Speaking of reading light, reading a book is another great way to just kind of break up the status quo, to get yourself out of your daily stories and into another type of mind story. Not to mention, of course, it's just great for gaining knowledge, gaining new ways of saying things and thinking about things. And so right now I'm reading this Matthew McConaughey book that I started before the wedding, and I just got too busy that I had to stop reading it. It's called Green Lights, and I'm enjoying it. I do really enjoy pausing and reading, although it can be difficult when you have other things that need to be done to allow yourself to stop and do that. So I'm making an intentional effort to stop and read at least 30 minutes every single day. Now, no surprise coming from me, but I think that the biggest, most powerful way to simplify your daily life is to change your environment, even if it's just briefly, even if it's taking a walk or going somewhere you don't normally go. That pulling yourself out of your daily routine and your daily perspective and, just being trapped in these little hamster wheel stories that we tend to run around in over and over again, it helps to interrupt the cycle, and it helps you to view things from more of a bird's eye view, to see things from different perspectives. And I think that that's really, really huge when it comes to simplifying. Now, aside from the beautiful architecture and artistry that was at the resort that we stayed at in Cancun, there was so much plant life. It was everywhere. It was lining the hallways on our way to our room. I mean, literally, it was open to the sky in the hallways heading to your room. And there were palm trees and there were little lizards scouring around in the hallway. It was just awesome. And so I was pleasantly surprised when I came home and my mom had bought all of these new plants while she was staying with the girls. She showed me how to take care of them because as you may have heard me say before, I am not a green thumb. I kill plants all the time. But she showed me some simple ways to hopefully keep these alive. I'm feeling optimistic. And I do think that just getting outside or incorporating some kind of outside nature into your daily life, daily routine, whether it's getting out on the porch and getting a little bit of vitamin D sun, which we all need while taking care of the plants, or just bringing some of that into the house and feeling a little more connected to nature. It really helps to calm your nerves and bring you back to simplicity. And it's also very healthy because, plants help us with oxygen, and they can grow you some delicious little strawberries like these that I have growing right here. Another healthy habit to simplify your daily life, and again, this will be no surprise coming from me, is to declutter. Now, this one is obviously loosely related to changing your environment, because I do believe that changing your internal environment, getting rid of the clutter, letting go of the stuff that's weighing you down, creating space to move around freely and to breathe inside of the space that you're living in all the time, it's crucially important, right? But it's a little bit different, right? This is more specific. Changing your environment could be as simple as taking a walk, but decluttering is a specific kind of transformation that you're making inside of your home. Now, of course, I have tons of videos and tons of blog posts up about this. I'll put a link to the playlist here at the end of the video. And if you want to know my formula for creating holistic, clutter-free spaces, well, I share all of that right here in my free masterclass. So be sure to check that out. I'll leave the link for it down in the description. This next healthy habit is super simple. Like, it takes zero effort for the most part, but it could really help to simplify your life as well. And that is listening to other people, listening to people talk, to tell about their own life struggles, about what's going on in their world. I did this a lot while we were in Cancun. We went on a lot of different transportation shuttles where we were just in the shuttle, just myself and Matt and the driver, and we would have these big conversations, just asking about their life, asking about, what they did day to day, like what they enjoyed doing, what they listened to, and just having those conversations, I feel like really changed our perspective on how we live our life and how we see things back here at home, the things that we take for granted in a lot of cases, or how we interact with family members, the things that we eat, our general expectations. And I think that it's those expectations that are really key, because when you have expectations that you haven't questioned in a long time, that you haven't really evaluated, it can make you unhappy when those expectations aren't consistently being met. And listening to somebody else tell their story and hear somebody else's expectations that maybe aren't the same as yours, I feel like is a really great and easy way to simplify your own thoughts about things. Another healthy habit that will really simplify things, let me tell you, is working on your fitness. While we were in Cancun, we did a lot of walking. We walked on the long trail paths to the beach and to the pool, and we walked to different outdoor excursions and activities. We did scuba diving, so we were moving a lot. And I was a little worried about getting back home and then just being stagnant all the time, sitting in my chair working, lounging around, laying in the bed, we do a lot of kind of moving from spot to spot and sitting. And so I want to be really intentional about moving my body, stretching my muscles, making sure that there's some kind of continuous movement going throughout my day, because I know that it makes me feel better, and I know that it makes me happier, right? So it makes me feel better physically and mentally. So this is something that I'm really going to be intentional about this summer, is continuing some kind of movement and activity. Our health and taking care of our bodies is more than just fitness. It's more than just looking good. It's going to determine how happy we are, how much we're having to struggle and work extra in our daily lives as we age. And the last healthy habit that will really simplify your day is to sleep, to allow yourself to get enough sleep. A lot of people will totally sacrifice their sleep schedule and will run on empty all the time. And it's not just about, I think people have this misconception that it's just about getting beauty rest, or that it's just about, feeling good while you're sleeping, and that it's like a luxury to oversleep, or it's a luxury to get enough sleep. And really, a lot more goes into our sleeping time, our time of sleeping, than people realize. That's where our hormones are balanced. Your hormones that can determine how much food and body weight you hold on to. It impacts the fluctuation of your moods and your emotions and your ability to process information and really stay on top of things with your mind. So it's more than just a recharging pad, although it is a really great recharging system to be able to just take a nap and reset your brain and reset all the thoughts that you've been having on repeat. But even more than that, it's necessary for all of your physical functions. So it's one of the healthiest things that you can do, is just get enough sleep. If you did nothing other than get enough sleep, move your body, and drink water, you would probably be okay. So those are the 10 healthy habits that I'm focusing on right now in order to maintain the simplicity and maintain feeling good and just a slower way of living without being sucked into the daily grind. Let me know down in the comments what you're working on and what you feel like you could use a little more of in your daily routine. And then go ahead and check out these other videos that will help you with getting the clutter out and creating a space that makes you feel amazing at home. Catch you next week.